Welcome back. Now, we all strive for happiness in our lives, and after years of research, one man claims to have the secret to the world's happiest people.
You just come into the studio,
and
don't
he's
you?
brightened the place up.
Yes. CEO of the Happiness Research Institute, Mike Viking, has joined us with advice on how to enjoy life. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike.
Good to see
Your
you.
phrases, Mike, have taken off because hygge,
Hygge.
Hygge.
Yes. Well
Hygge.
done. Well
Hygge.
done.
I kind of feel like I have to sit in a certain way to say that, hygge, has taken off because even corporate brands I see on Instagram and Twitter and everything have embraced this sense of we're doing a weekend of hygge.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
did you create this concept, or did this concept exist before your first book?
It's a Danish custom that have existed for several hundred years.
Okay.
What I did last year was to write a book about it that the entire world seemed to embrace. So I received letters from South Korea and France and Canada and the US. People telling me how they've implemented hygge into their lives.
So
that's
what
a
is,
wonderful-
you say it's an old Danish custom. What? Explain it to us. What
Well,
is
hygge
it?
is this. It's also been called the art of creating a nice atmosphere. It's about warmth. It's about togetherness. It's about equality. It's about enjoying the simple pleasures in life. And obviously, that is something that happens everywhere. It happens in Copenhagen. It happens here. It happens throughout the world. But I think what Danes have in particular is a word that describes that situation. And I think our language shapes our behavior, so we become more aware of it. And Danes, we talk about it constantly. I'll invite you over for dinner, and then during the week, we'll talk about how hyggelig Saturday is going to be. Then on Saturday, we'll
So
talk
is
about
it like
how
our
hyggelig this
equivalent
is.
to crack? Like it's going to be great crack?
Yeah, it's going to be great. Crack.
Yeah, I would say we give it the same value as you give crack. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the book, are you giving us little tips as to
Yeah, that was the
how to
first.
increase
That
our
was the
levels
first
of
one.
That was
hygge?
the first book. That was telling the world what does Denmark do well in terms of creating a nice atmosphere that seemed to have a positive impact on how people feel. What I wanted to do with the new book is basically take people on a global treasure hunt and look for pockets of happiness around the world that seem to have a positive impact on people's lives, whether you're from Ireland or Denmark or Germany and France.
So this is the little book of
Lykke.
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 Yes,
Lykke?
which is Danish for happiness. But
Okay.
basically my job is to try and understand how we measure happiness.
Yes.
Try and understand why some people are happier than others. And most importantly, how we can improve quality.
Now, in
of
every
life.
piece of research that's been conducted around happiness, well-being, the Danes come out on top.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why is that? What are you doing differently to the rest of the world?
I think we have a different approach to time. People value time spent with family and friends a bit higher. People will leave the office at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Especially expats from the US or UK I speak with, marvel over the fact that men will say, I can't take the client call at 4 because I have kiddie pickup. So even men value time spent with
Wow,
friends
okay,
and
so
family.
that's become the norm.
That is the norm, and we can see when it comes to the work-life balance, that has a tremendous impact on well-being.
We were given some stats explaining as to why the Danes always top the happiness ranks, and I'd like your thoughts on some of these. One we've discussed already. Danes apparently eat an average of 42 sausages a year,
Wow.
which makes them happy.
Only 42?
Yeah.
That was kind of my thought as
less
well,
than
I'll be
one a week.
honest. That's not
That would
that
make me
many, is
miserable.
it? But 50% of Copenhageners commute to work each day on a bicycle.
Right, yeah. And that's also what I talk about in the new book, that Danes are the people in Europe that exercise the most or get most exercise in a week. And it's not because we like the gym, but we have exercise built into the daily routine.
It's normal.
It's normal. It's a form of transport. I mean, 50% of people in Copenhagen cycle to work. 6 out of 10 members of parliament cycle to work.
So that leads to that whole thing of healthy body, healthy mind.
Yes, and of course we can't all cycle to work, but perhaps we can all build in little micro exercises in our daily routines that help us get exercise. So
They're
what we do,
lifestyle changes, I suppose.
yeah, and just a sort of little changes that have an accumulated effect over time. So what we do at the Happiness Research Institute is when, for instance, I order a cup of coffee at the cafe, instead of waiting for the coffee to be prepared, I walk up the 4 flight of stairs, stories of stairs, and back down. And when I get back down, my coffee is ready.
That's
and it means
very
that,
clever, isn't
over,
it? It's such an
over-
efficient use of your time.
And over a week, I drink a lot of coffee. So I actually walk the equivalent.
That's why you're so fit.
I actually walk the equivalent of the Empire State Building in a week, and everything adds up.
Wow. The other point, did you see this, Simon? That, and I hadn't realised this at all, that no place in Denmark is more than 30 miles, so 50k, from the sea.
Right, yeah. And Danes, as well as our Scandinavian brothers and sisters, are nature people. We enjoy getting out into nature. And it's interesting also, we have quite detailed data on where in the country are people more or less happy. So a study under London School of Economics have people prompted several times a day through their smartphones. You know, where are you? What are you doing? Who are you with? How happy are you?
Very good.
And they can see if people are outside, they are happier than if they are in the city. That goes in most countries, that we get this endorphins rush. But the same study, I also just wanted to point this out, the same study then we can also see on which days are people happier than others. And last year we could see that the unhappiest day was Christmas Day, or the happiest day was Christmas Day. The unhappiest day in 2016, can you guess what that was?
Valentine's Day?
Good guess, but it was November 9th.
Why?
The day we woke up and Donald Trump was elected president. So you can actually see that in the data, which I think is quite interesting.
Wow.
And also three little things that might help is free education, free
Yes.
healthcare,
Exactly.
and you've got a very high minimum wage.
Exactly. And also, that's why I say, especially when American journalists say, how can you be happy you pay so high taxes?
Because it's given back to you.
Exactly. Danes don't see taxes as taxes.
Punishment.
We see them
As
an,
the pain.
an investment in quality of life. There is an investment in the collective good.
Well,
I
clearly,
think we'd all be happy to pay a high rate of tax if we were going to get free healthcare, free
but that
education.
also leads to that, Anna, that like Denmark is considered the least corrupt country in the world.
Exactly.
Because the people who are in positions of power,
Yes.
there's no need for greed, because they know that the people who are putting them in power are happy.
Yeah.
Because they're using their taxes effectively.
And
etc.
there's a sense of fairness, I suppose.
Fairness, a sense of equality, and a notion that you will get a pretty decent life with a relatively high quality of life, whether you make a lot of money or little money. And I think that reduces competition among people. I think it reduces worry. I think it reduces stress.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, you've made us all very happy. You've also made us all want to
My
move to
work is done.
Denmark.
Yes, exactly. How quick can we get there?
There'll be people online booking flights as we speak. Tell us one more time about the book. What's it called? It's out now?
Yeah, it's out now. It's called The Little Book of Lykke.
Luca?
Yes.
Luca?
Been a
When I
pleasure
order a
talking
coffee in future, I'm going to do a lap of the building while I'm waiting for
to you.
it.
Make sure there's a building with stairs.
Or just a lap of
Walk
the
around the
building.
circle.
Just do exercise while you're waiting.
Brilliant. Very nice to meet you, Mike. Thank you for
Likewise.
coming in.
Thank
my
you,
friend.
Mike.
Thank you.